found at his home in the parish on Saturday. The Clarendon police were there following an intelligence-based probe. The teacher wasn't home and the police were there knocking for a good while. But while the police were there, him drive up, but he was telling the police it wasn't his house. So they took his key, tried the lock, and the door opened. They went into the house and found the girl hiding, said a source. Ratings TV understands that the teacher previously worked at a primary school and is now currently employed to a high school, both in Clarendon. The Center for Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse is investigating the matter. Now viewers, if you are a first-time viewer, Student Jones, teen said to be Sugar Minot's grandson. A fourth form student of Wolmer's Boys School drowned during a beach trip at the Somerset Falls in Oak Bay, Portland on Sunday. David Minot, who is said to be the grandson of late reggae icon Sugar Minot, drowned during a church trip. He was from Herald Avenue, Kingston 13. It is reported that about 2 p.m., Minot was among a group of people who went swimming. He was last seen alive sitting on a rock shortly before lifeguards found his body below the surface of the water. He was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Minot was well known at school. He served as the public relations officer for the Inter-Schools Christian Fellowship and was also passion and purity rep at the institution. A passion and purity video on YouTube shows the young man talking about his love for Christ.
My name is David Minot. I attend Wolmer's Boys School. Passion and purity is a needed light in this dark world to free youths, bringing them to consciousness and the reality that they were made to worship God and that in living His word. God as eternal Father means to me that even when no one is there, when my mother and father forsake me, I am assured He will always be my Father. And if my Father is eternal, I will be an eternal son for Him, only if I live His word. This reminds me of an encounter that I had with the Lord that motivated me to obey Him. It was at this same passion and purity. It was at a worship session I was ministered to by a dance presentation. And for the first time ever, a dance presentation gave me a new thirst and happiness for living the Word of God.
Popular Westmoreland barber shot dead. A well-known Westmoreland barber was shot dead at his barber shop along the Petersfield Main Road on Sunday night. That is 43-year-old Ron Fennell, otherwise called Barber or Zuki, from a Ardford district address in the parish. Reports from the Whitthorne police are that about 10 p.m. residents heard explosions and summoned them. Fennell was later discovered with gunshot wounds and was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The deceased sister Marcia Dixon told reporters that her brother was hardworking and popular. 24-year-old dance teacher charged with murder in St. Mary. A 24-year-old dance teacher has been charged with murder following the death of Jermaine Barrington in Stuartown, St. Mary on Sunday, May 8th. Charge is Faraji Elliott of Boscobel, St. Mary. Reports are that both men were among patrons at a party where several fights broke out. Barrington was shot by an unknown man after allegedly being pointed out by Elliott. The police were summoned and Barrington was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations subsequently led to Elliott's arrest, after which he was pointed out during an identification parade. An interview was then conducted and he was later charged with murder. His court date is being finalized.
My name is Malika Reed and I am a victim of cradle larceny.
How you got into farming?
12 years ago, as a police officer, I went on suspension. So I've been on suspension for the last 12 years. And so, being suspended from my job, I had to find something to do. And so my dad was, at the time, had 2 pigs and suggested I try that. And I've been doing that ever since. So I actually took 2 pigs from my father and started to take over his farming, and that is how I've been doing it. So I was at my parents', I then rented somewhere, and then the sugar company at Jamaica was good to me to allow me to lease this piece of land about a year ago.
How many acres are we looking at?
I'm presently on 5 acres. I came to the farm on Saturday. I left my farm about 7:30 Saturday night, and I came back on Sunday because I had some business to do. I came back on Sunday about 3 o'clock. When I came, I realized the goat pen was open. I guess wishful thinking on my part, thought that some of the goats were out and some were in, but after a brief check I realized that the goats were stolen. When I did a check, I recognized that 27 heads of goat was missing. In fact, it's only the kids are left with some, I think, two medium-sized goats. One female goat who always jump out seemed to have escaped, but that apart is only the kids are left. They can survive, I don't even know. Yeah, that is it. What else have I lost? Last year, January, I had 8 bulls and they were all stolen. So, on the same day that they stole the goats, my neighbor had a pen with about 48 to 50 pigs, and they were also stolen. In terms of cost, that would be roughly about $800,000, give or take, because it's $1,000 for goat meat. It's $1,000 a pound for goat meat. And even if you were going to price a goat, a mother goat who is possibly pregnant, about $30,000.